Hello everybody, and welcome to another celebration. This week we have so many exciting things that are going on. We have classes that are beginning, and if you haven't signed up, it's not too late. I've been thinking and working on this class. I'm so excited about this. I think it's the synthesis of my last 10 years of study in 8 weeks. It's going to be a wild ride. There's also our annual meeting this Sunday, and it brings the question, how do you in the virtual world become a member of the Hilltop Spiritual Community? I'll let you know the answer to that next week, or if you have ideas, shoot me an email. I'd love to get your feedback because we're creating this virtual community. This community is growing and expanding. And we're going to continue it even as we go to live services. We are living in a time right now where we should really undertake the impossible, because impossible things are happening around us all the time, to begin to stretch beyond the boundaries of what beliefs we hold about what's possible and impossible. I am reminded of the statement, in God, all things are possible.
Coming first now to the harvest, still you're eyeing from the iris a river once dry, overflowing tonight. Days of doubting, just a ripple like a feather on an eagle, a river once dry, overflowing tonight. When I wake up in the morning sun, there's a feeling like a knot undone. Bring my cup with a newfound love, 'cause I'm ready for change. Celebrations from the struggle, stipulations have no level. The river once dry, overflowing tonight. When I wake up in the morning sun, there's a feeling like a knot undone. Bring my cup with a newfound love, 'cause I'm ready for change. Oh, I found it, what a feeling. Rest my eyes up on the ceiling. The river once dry, overflowing tonight, overflowing tonight, overflowing tonight.
Hello, welcome to the Sunday celebration. My name is Bill Smith. I've been here at the Hilltop Center for about 6 years, and I am now currently a second-year practitioner student. This is my first time as your practitioner in service, So here we go. Please join me in prayer. As we gather together for this Sunday celebration, I invoke the presence. I acknowledge the presence of the One, that presence that is the reason why we're all here. It is the presence that gives us such God qualities as joy and peace and love and creativity. I know that I am a divine emanation of this One. I know that everything that is in my life, the creativity that I enjoy, the joy that I enjoy, is a product of my association, my link, my bond with this God. And as we are all one, I know that every one of us has that same link, that same presence of God within them, through them, and around them, around us. I know that today's service is blessed, and it is a blessing. I know that the words and the talk that Reverend Guy will give are truth, as they come from that universal mind that we all think through and receive ultimate knowledge and wisdom. I know that the music in today's service is touching, and I know that it's inspiring. I know that it is all good and all very good. And I let it be so, and so it is. In keeping with our monthly theme, The Path of Creativity, I have selected the following reading from Ernest Holmes. There is an urge to express in all people, and this urge, operating through the channels of creative mind, looses energy into action and compels the individual to do something. Back of all this desire is the impulse of spirit to express. Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind. This is a meditation for boosting creativity and inspiration. Find a comfortable position with your chest open and your shoulders relaxed. Gently close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 3. Out through your mouth for a count of 3. In for 3, out for 3. Relax your forehead, your jaw, and your tongue. All creation stems from the continual flow of energy. When we direct our focus on something we want to do, something we want to create, we simultaneously direct a stream of energy to that thing. Whether it be a book, a culinary dish, a work of art, a woodworking project, the lyrics to a song, or whatever your desired creation is, they all have one thing in common. You. You, as the creator, have the freedom, the choice to craft the sentences in your book, to curate the recipe, to fling paint at a canvas, to create poetry from your soul that has real depth and meaning. You are the creator, the decision maker, and the purveyor of whatever it is you set out to make. Your creativity has a unique signature. For all those who came before you, and all those who will come after you, there is, and will only ever be, one you. Whatever you feel called to create, it has chosen you to become its creator. It has chosen you to bring it to life, from mere concept to tangible creation, in this time-space reality. That creative energy is just waiting for you to direct it in whatever way you see fit. It knows that you are the only one who can bring it to life in the way only you have imagined it. You will notice that as you pursue creativity, your inspiration will heighten. The flow of more ideas will come to you, one after another, like fish in a downstream river. This energy stream is always available to you, just as creativity and inspiration are always available to you. New ideas form all the time, but it's up to you to catch them. Inspiration can be sparked at any moment, but it's up to you to make use of it. Clarity arises in the midst of the process, in the midst of the doing. So often we wait for clarity, then get frustrated when it doesn't come. Meanwhile, our creation is on standby. We must start imperfectly. Start messy. Start without a plan. Just start creating and let the process unfold. Let the plan reveal itself to you, step by step. There is no one way to creativity. It is a path with many avenues, many turns, and many destinations. You get to choose the path you take. If you wish to take a different path than the one you started on, you can. That is the beautiful thing about your creativity. You are its one and only creator. Take a breath in for 3 and out for 3. When you are ready, gently open your eyes and come back to the room.
I love me. Yes, I do. I love me on good days, even bad days too. I love the body I'm in, to live what life may bring, to delight in all my senses, to even think a thing. I love me from birth, I love me to death, because no matter what happens, I take another breath. I'm in awe of my feelings. Love is what it's about, but even pain has a purpose. It's me just looking out. I do love everything I'm doing. It's all me just meing. What a wonderful thing, this being a human being. I could have been a rock, I could have been a tree, I could have been nothing, but I am me, so I love me, yes I do. And for all the same reasons, I love you too. It's a glorious day on a planet I love. Whoa.
Hello, everyone. So it's been a week of really ups and downs, has it not? I know I've been sort of all over the map. First, there have been the tragic shootings in both Colorado and Georgia. There's been good news as far as vaccinations and getting things under control. But we're also seeing outbreaks in Europe. So as we are moving from this disorder to this reorganization that's beginning to happen, so many things are going on. But you know, the thing that I've been thinking about the most about this whole year, I don't want to say that it's a gift of the pandemic, but it speaks to us, is 1 year ago our country shut down. Not only our country, the entire world shut down. But this, I think, is the most amazing thing. The entire planet organized itself around something. Within hours, within days, the entire globe organized itself in such a way there was communication, there was as much support as there could be, but we as a collective being created and did something. So just imagine what else we could do. Just imagine if we were to use our technology for something that would work for us, how we could mass our resources so quickly and get people on board so quickly to do something. Imagine for yourself if there's like one thing that you think that says, boy, if we could get this one thing right, the whole planet would benefit. What would that be? We are living in a time right now where we should really undertake the impossible, because impossible things are happening around us all the time, to begin to stretch beyond the boundaries of what beliefs we hold about what's possible and impossible. I am reminded of the statement, in God, all things are possible. So what we are seeing is evolution becoming intentional. This really is God in action. And, I've been thinking about the interview that I had the privilege of doing with Neale Donald Walsch at the beginning of this month's theme, The Path of Creativity. And, there's something that I remember him saying and then also reading in one of his books where he says, sooner or later, every thinking person comes around again to this question: is it possible, just possible, that there is something we don't fully understand about ourselves, about life, and yes, about God, that the understanding of which would change everything? So that's it, right? This is one of those fundamental questions. Is it possible that we have sort of organized our life collectively, but also organized our own lives in such a way that we don't fully understand, but that if we were to create a new meaning on it, it would change our lives. It would be the game changer. It would be the thing that would move us to our heart's desires and move us as a planet to a just, equitable, and sustainable home for all life. But you know what it takes? It takes, as I was talking about last week, confronting the false self. Those erroneous ideas that we have come to believe to be true. The Jesuit priest Anthony de Mello says this. He says that the only way that someone can be of help to you is by challenging your ideas. That's the most helpful thing we can do. And so, maybe we as a community, and what I mean by that is the Hilltop Center as a virtual community and something that is happening within our own brick and mortar community, but maybe in your family, is to begin to challenge some of the ideas at a fundamental level. Ideas like, what kind of universe do we live in? Do we live in an intelligent universe? Or a universe that's devoid of that? Do we live in a universe that is working for our good? Or is it malefic? Is there a volition or an intention to things? Or is it random and chaotic? Because that question sets the whole trajectory about every other question that we ask. Questions like, what is the nature of the divine? And who am I? And where did I come from? And what am I here to do? So a good friend, a good community will challenge ideas like this and push us a little bit to discomfort, a lot to discomfort in our confirmation bias, how we've organized ourselves and protect ourselves and only begin to see things through the perception of our own beliefs. But again, as Neale Donald Walsch says, we have to be clear that the question we are asking is, why not choose God to be experienced as part of us and as that of which all beings and all aspects of life are comprised? So why not choose God? You know, sometimes I think that our idea of God is just way too small. I also think that sometimes our idea of what God thinks of us is way smaller than what God thinks of us. Raymond Charles Barker, who was one of the early New Thought teachers, used to say that whenever he was in a conundrum, whenever he was in a situation, whenever he was in a challenge, he would say, you know, I need a bigger idea of God. I think really the whole essence of a spiritual crisis is that we have created in our own imagination a God that is much smaller than the present situation that we're in. And you know, that's true where we are today, is that we need a bigger idea of what God can be in our own life. And we get this by engaging in the creative process, by surrounding ourselves with beauty, to reimagine, to reignite the imagination of its flatline. But in many ways, the imagination is our path to a greater understanding and a greater experience of life would be. You know, something that we're beginning to understand more and more, to the point where we kind of get it, is that what we know from modern science is that evolution is our fundamental reality. It's how the universe operates. From the very first explosion of the Big Bang to where everything is now, is this experience that everything is evolving. That the narrative of nature can be summed up in one word: evolution. Evolution is the function of information and complexity. An increase in complexity corresponds to a rise in consciousness. What that means is this, is that the very drive, the very force of evolution is information. And as information begins to move itself and organize itself, it becomes more complex, more interconnected, more united. There's more aspects of that. And as there is a greater experience of complexity, there's a greater experience of consciousness. But you know, it's not just human consciousness, right? We like to think that we're sort of the pinnacle of consciousness and that everything in the universe revolves around us. But maybe it's something else. There's this woman that I follow. Her name is Ilia Delio. She is a Franciscan nun. She is a biologist, a theologian. She's absolutely brilliant. She's written several books. But one of the things she says, but the fact is, Earth is the primary reality, and we are a derivative of earthly life. Meaning that it's not about human beings, it's about Earth, the planet, our home, Gaia. And that we're a derivative of that. If Earth didn't exist, we wouldn't exist. And that we are an aspect, a part of this. And what she says, I think this is so beautiful, is we aren't meant to control nature, but instead to be its mind and its heart as it seeks its ultimate fulfillment. Let that sink in, that we are meant to be the mind and the heart of earthly life as it all seeks its fulfillment. So think about that. Let that just sort of sink in. How would that fundamental change in our thinking radically change everything? How we do business, how we educate, how we experience the divine through spiritual practices, how we organize everything that we do technologically, that every choice that we make is coming from the perception that we as human beings, as our level of complexity, our level of consciousness that we are the mind and the heart of earthly life. And that just like a body, everything is interconnected and everything is dependent. A healthy mind is a healthy body. A healthy heart is a healthy body. If the mind and the heart are clear and vital, everything thrives. If the mind or the heart are sickened, if they are not vital but stagnant, then the entire body affects it. So I think this is one of those fundamental things. And again, going back to something that Neil Donald Walsh says, is he says, we have to just stop behaving the way that we have been and call forth from within us a new way to be human, a way that allows us to embrace singularity without creating separation, to express differences without producing divisions, and to experience contrasts without generation of conflict. Think about that. This new way. And you know, if you're thinking right now, well, that's impossible, think about everything else that's been impossible. Think about the very beginning of my talk, that the entire planet organized itself around an idea almost immediately. That we pooled our resources and directed everything at our disposal for a specific thing. We can do this. But it means that there's a change in consciousness. And we can't wait for someone else to do it. You know, spiritual practice, consciousness, these are individuals. These are not victimless activities. It means that your consciousness is affecting everything. And we can't sit around and wait for somebody else to do it. It's ours to do, yours and mine. You know, there's this great maxim of nature, is that life seeks life. And so our very being is seeking a greater experience of life. Every living thing on this planet is seeking a greater experience of life. And you and I, as stewards of this, as the heart and mind, begin to support this, direct this, cultivate this. You know, this Friday night, the 26th, at sunset, is the beginning of Passover. And Passover is one of the most sacred days in the Jewish calendar. Because, you know, let's face it, without Passover, there'd be no Judaism. There'd be no Bible. There'd be no Jewish state. There would be no Islam. There'd be no Christianity. There'd be no Jesus. All of that comes from this great and rich tradition. This weekend also is Palm Sunday, which is a pivotal solemnity in the Christian calendar. And again, without Easter and all that entails, there would be no Christmas. There would be no church. There would be, you know, our whole Western civilization. So therefore, the very place of the planet itself, none of this would be as it is today if it wasn't for the Easter experience. And these are powerful things. And you know, what's interesting is that Passover and the Easter story, the message of both of them is the same. It's universal. It is one of seeing, believing, and trusting in the empowering presence of the divine. You know, Jesus gave this beautiful prayer that we've all heard, probably have memorized. It's called the Lord's Prayer. But you know, it's a deep prayer, and I'd like to offer it to you with different wording, you know, coming from its true intention. So the prayer begins, Our Father. But really what Jesus is saying is that divine presence among us. Maybe it's known to you as the Father or the Mother or the companion and friend. You who exist in and through all things, in the heavens, in this place of pure beingness that is reflected in all life. And though there are many names, each direct a certain aspect. Bhagavad, the beautiful. Ganesh, the remover of all obstacles. El Shaddai, the mountain of refuge. So many. The great artificer of the universe, the supreme architect of the universe. Each one represents a holiness, a beingness. And that this volition towards unification, of wholeness towards all things, thy kingdom come. This arc of creation that is moving to an awakening of all beingness. Let me be a part of that. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Let it be done as it is within the mind of the divine, through my hands, through my eyes, through my voice, through my ears. And then there's this beautiful part. Give us this day our daily bread. You are our source. Give to me today that which I need, so that I am free from the distraction of lack or want, so that I can be fully present to that which is. And forgive me my debts. Forgive me the bondage. Forgive me the errors in my ways, as I forgive those who have erred, who are in bondage to me or in debt to me. Let that slate be wiped clean. And lead us not into temptation. Let me never forget. Let me always remember. And deliver me from my own erroneous thinking and from anything that works against the common good. And that is our practice. That is our prayer, to align ourselves to this divine volition, so that we may be an experience in the divine. That, even as the law of attraction talks about, that we are a center of divine consciousness within the vast whole. And that in this consciousness, we are the mind and we are the heart of our beloved planet. And so it is.
If you knew the you that you don't know, you'd love yourself from head to toe. You'd never be this sad or low. If you knew the you that you don't know, if you saw the you that you don't see, you will feel so differently. You'd be as happy as can be if you saw the you that you don't see. You say, what a human, what a friend, what a model citizen. You know why the people love you so, if you knew the you that you don't know. If you heard the you that you don't hear, all the doubt would disappear. 'Cause you're so charming and sincere. You hear the you that you don't hear. What a human, what a friend, what a model citizen. You know why the people love you so, if you knew the you that you don't know. yourself. It's just everybody else. When the earth is old and cold and gray, and we're out beyond the Milky Way, who shall lead humanity? Well, I'd send the you that you don't see. They'd say, what a human, what a friend, what a model citizen. You know how the people love you so. If you knew the you that you don't know, just how the people love you so, yeah. If you knew the you that you don't know, if you knew the you that you don't know, if you knew the you that you don't know.
Hi, it's Bill again. I hope you enjoyed the service. I want to talk to you a little bit today about conscious giving. I have not always been a conscious giver, but a few years ago I really discovered a few things about giving that made a lot of sense to me, and I hope they make some sense to you. Two things really. The first is that when we give, it really should be as a response to something that we receive. And in other words, I give because I have been spiritually fed. And I know that the Hilltop Center definitely feeds me spiritually every time I'm here. The second reason why I give consciously is really a signal to the universe. A signal that I have received supply from the One, and I have used it wisely. I have given it, and now I'm ready for resupply, which continues the law of creativity and the law of circulation. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope that you will choose to give consciously to the Hilltop Spiritual Center. Thank you.
And so, my dear friends, thank you for being part of the Hilltop Spiritual Center. And so for those whom you love and those whom you receive love from, I wish you many, many blessings.